Hey everybody, I am back today with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about addiction, recovery, and also how I came out of addiction and was set free from that. So I know that addiction is sometimes a really hard thing for people to understand, and that it can be really hard for family members, it can be really hard for friends, for people who are watching you go through this. And you know, for me, my addiction started when I was about 13, and I didn't really know that it was an addiction that was starting to form. I thought I was just, you know, experimenting and doing things like that, but actually it took a turn for the worst. And on my channel, I want to be very open and vulnerable with you, and I really have no, my life is basically an open book, and I'm not afraid to talk about things that I've gone through, and also a lot of the things I'm going to share are kind of personal, but at the same time is part of my story, and I am no longer that woman. I have changed dramatically, so if some of these things might be a little hard for you to hear, you don't have to watch, but you know, I want to be real, and I don't want to have to hide anything. I want you guys to know who I am and kind of where I came from before I begin my YouTube journey. So, like I said, it started when I was about 13. I always hated being in my own skin from about age 13. I never really felt like I fit in. I always felt different. I had a really hard time being in my skin. And so I started experimenting with alcohol and weed, and it didn't really start to take off until high school. Once I got to high school is when everything started to slowly fall from my grips. Started ditching school. I wanted to pretty much put on any mask that I could to protect myself from myself. So I didn't want people to see who I really was. So I pretended to be other people. I pretended to just put on different skin and just be, if you had something that I wanted, I was going to pretend to be you for that moment, so that way I didn't have to feel who Blake was. So long story short, I basically was very an angry girl. I wanted to kind of put off this vibe that I was intimidating because I didn't want people to see that I was actually hurting inside. And so I started to party, and let me just tell you that when I would go to a party, I would have to drink multiple shots just to loosen up to go to the party. So that kind of tells you how insecure and how much I hated social events, but I went to them anyway because it was the cool thing to do at the time. So I began to miss school and everything, and was going to jail, getting in trouble with my parents. I was just kind of spiraling out of control, and my parents didn't know what to do with me. So I decided I was going to do online high school for my senior year. So I got my high school diploma, and after that is when everything just went berserk. I mean, I started hanging out with gang members and hanging out with people that just did really horrible things, but that was when my meth addiction took off. And I really got out of control with meth. The first month I dropped like 30 pounds, and for me that was my answer, because as I'm going to share with you guys later, I've had eating disorders and body dysmorphia, and I've always hated looking in the mirror. Luckily not anymore, but I dropped 30 pounds. I started to get this liquid confidence that was completely false and was not real, but in my mind, as on meth, I thought that it was the real thing. I thought I had found my answer. This is what I was going to do for the rest of my life because it made me feel good. It numbed my pain, it numbed my insecurities. I didn't care what you thought anymore, and I pretty much became this really horrible person. I stole from you. If you had something I wanted, I would steal it. I would steal from my parents. I sold my dad's wedding ring. I mean, it was just a mess. So I decided that I was going to go with some random guy that I met to California. And I ended up in Paramount, California. The guy that I went with got deported because he was not an illegal, and I was basically stuck in California. Now, mind you, I had never been out of Flagstaff, Arizona. So I go from Flagstaff to California, and then I end up in Watts, California, and Compton. Now, if anyone knows what that is, it is not a place for a white blonde girl like myself. I am not gangster, I am not intimidating, and I was just in the wrong place completely. So, by the grace of God, I came back alive. But during that time in Compton, everything was stolen. My car, my phone, my ID, my passport. I mean, I had nothing. So I had to figure out a way to get an ID to get back home on the Greyhound bus. So I finally get home. I go to my first rehab. That doesn't work because I didn't want it. I was doing it for my parents. I had been in and out of detoxes. Well, not detoxes yet because I hadn't started heroin, but I had been in and out of rehab, halfway houses, things like that. So I decided, you know what, it's Flagstaff that's a problem, so I'm going to move to Phoenix. So I moved to Phoenix, and I got my own apartment with my friend. We both began stripping, and that was horrible. I had to get high before I even went into work because I just felt so disgusting. And getting high at work made it more manageable. So I did that for a while, but I pretty much couldn't even strip right. I got fired from being a stripper. I mean, that's like the worst of the worst, right? So now I meet a boyfriend, and we're on the streets, basically. We don't have anywhere to stay. We're, doing meth throughout the night, so that way we don't have to sleep. We don't have to worry about sleeping. And pretty much we get to the point where we're sleeping in our car. Then we sell our car for drugs, so now we're homeless again. We're sleeping in parks, we're sneaking into his mom's backyard in the middle of the night, breaking into her trailers, different things like that. And so basically that's how my life was for years. I was basically had a backpack to my name with dirty clothes that I've been wearing for probably weeks at a time, shampoo, a conditioner maybe that I stole from the store. Everything that I had, I stole. So I stole food to eat, I stole clothing, hygiene, anything to kind of just get by. But I would definitely get my fix before I bought any of that stuff. So that's why I was dirty, grungy, scabs all over my face. And actually that's when I began to shoot heroin. And if you don't know what heroin is, I'm sure you do, it's 2017. It is a drug that you basically have to take because you'll get sick if you don't. And I mean the flu times 1,000. Body aches, throwing up. It was just a mess. So basically at that point, my boyfriend at the time went to prison. I decided that I was done living this way, and I began to get sober. I went to the Phoenix Rescue Mission, and that is when I found Jesus. I had never been introduced to Jesus before, and I never knew who he was, never read the Bible, wasn't introduced to Christianity my entire life, but I found something that Blake had been missing for my entire life. I found this peace that was undescribable, and I began to study the Bible. I began to get to know Jesus and who he is and what he'd done for me. And so I graduated the program after a year, and I was a completely brand new person after this. And I had been, like I said, I had been to rehabs, I had been to different centers, and nothing ever changed me because I didn't have the one factor, which was Jesus Christ. And this is just my story. It's my duty to share this with others in hopes that they'll come to the same realization. If you don't believe in Jesus, that's okay. I just want to encourage you guys to seek out God, because it says, if you seek, you will find. And that's what I did. I actually took the time, and I did the hardest thing that I could do, and I just worked my butt off. Probably recovery and Christianity is the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life, and I just dug into it. And the proof that Jesus is real to me is because he changed me inside and out. And he did something that no other person could do, no other book could tell me, that I didn't have enough strength to do the things that I was able to do. Like, I never completed a rehab. I left after like the first week, but I completed a whole year program. As of today, I have 4.5 years clean and sober. So I left the program. I went to work at a detox center, which is actually the same detox that I went to a year later, a year before that when I was going to get sober. I actually ended up working there as a peer support. And during that, my first 10 days of getting a job there, I met my husband. And that story will be later on in another vlog, because it's a pretty awesome story, and the way that God has brought us together is amazing. So I met him, we got married. A year later we had a little baby boy named Jackson, and we lived together in a small apartment that is not in the best area, but I can tell you that my life is so much more peaceful, and I have joy in my life today, and I don't have to be addicted to heroin and meth anymore. I don't claim to be an addict anymore. I can always fall back into my old tendencies and habits, but Christ has set me free, and I don't have to put that title on me anymore, because I chose to change my mind. God helped me to renew my mind. He helped me to renew my body, realize the things that I was doing were wrong and it was sinful, and I was doing anything I could in my life to just deny God as much as I could. And so I realized that Jesus is everything, and without Jesus, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be doing the things that I am able to do today. I wouldn't be sober and healthy, and most importantly, I have inner peace, and I don't hate myself anymore. Yeah, I still have times where I look in the mirror and I'm like, I don't really like how I look today, but I can honestly say that I don't want to escape my skin anymore, and I really just want to give other people that opportunity to find. I mean, it would be so selfish of me to find this answer and this solution and to hold it in. Now, a lot of people get offended when they hear the word Jesus, which is fine. I did too. But when you've had a transforming experience, you can't help but not deny him. You know he's real, and you know that he is who he says he is. And like me, I was very stubborn, and so God had to basically have everything in my life taken from me. So basically, I just want to encourage you guys to keep watching my channel. I'm going to keep putting out more videos, and I just really want to help people. I don't want to start a YouTube to like get famous. That's not my point or my plan. I just want to get myself out there, and hopefully I can just touch 1 or 2 or 3 or hopefully multiple people, and help them to get in contact with me or reach out to me, and kind of just, you know, maybe you're not even an addict. Maybe you're just a new Christian and you're trying to figure out how to fit in the world now. And I would love to help you with that, and I would love to share my experience. So please, please, please subscribe. Please comment. Let me know what you think. If you didn't like it, let me know. If you liked it, if there's things that you want me to talk about, please comment down below, subscribe, like my channel, share it. I'm also on Facebook, Blake Della Riva. I haven't started my own channel yet. My own page for my channel, because obviously I don't have anybody really watching yet. But my baby's crying, so that is a sign it's time to go. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.